Hey, good morning, good morning. I'm just going to have a little talk today. I've had one last year about this, and there's nothing wrong with reminding us or having a reminder. The church as a whole has failed tremendously when it comes to drug addiction and alcoholism. I remember when I first came to the church, uh, I had started smoking weed at 12. Uh, Angel Dust at 13. I was smoking embalming fluid Sherm by 14 and drinking well. Started smoking at 12, but I didn't know I was self-medicating, being sexually abused from the age of 4 to 6, probably a little longer than that, and then going through tremendous, severe physical abuse from my mother, which was even worse till I was 14 years old. So my drug habit started young, and it was out of curiosity more than anything. But I've come to grow to learn that people choose to do drugs, but they don't choose to be a drug addict. People choose to use crack, but they don't choose to be a crackhead. Uh, People make a choice to drink alcohol, but they don't choose to be an alcoholic. And when I came back to the church, probably about the age of 22 here in Huntsville, Alabama, the church, they smelled weed on me, and the pastors started to condemn me and talk about me because I was also a man of God. I knew God called me. And the reason why was their perception of drugs, because their kids didn't use drugs until they grew up and got out of school, high school, and then they got into the world and they began to use drugs. And then some of their kids used drugs to fit in and then be cool, and they were on it, then off it. One lady said, well, my drug of choice was cocaine. She wasn't hooked on it, she just chose to do it as recreation whenever she did, but she wasn't like me. I was a full-fledged drug addict. And I wasn't smoking to fit in. I wasn't smoking to quote unquote because I'm a sinner and I'm sinning. Now, this thing was a part of me. And the treatment that drug addicts get and alcoholics get when they come to the church is pathetic. It's pathetic. And the church must do a better job of accepting people as they are rather than trying to change them. Before God changes us, He accepts us just as we are, just as I am without one plea. He accepts us just as we are, and the Holy Spirit does the work. But we want to condemn, we want to label them, we want to talk about them. And I'm telling you, I know some alcoholics, especially when they're sober, they're more loyal than most church people are. People aren't alcoholics for nothing. People aren't drug addicts for nothing because they were just being bad and they chose to be. There's a good reason behind it. And we need to be more loving and more concerned about their soul than their habits. And looking at them more like, instead of having a sin problem, maybe they got like a disease or maybe like a severe habit that, because see, you choose to do drugs, but once drug has you, you're not choosing anymore. The drug chooses you. You might have chose to drink alcohol, but it comes to a point where alcohol chooses you. You might have grabbed it, but eventually it'll hold on to you, and you won't No, it's holding on to you one day you won't drink and you have to. We need more drug rehabilitations in church, alcohol rehabs in church. We got to be more sensitive to people with addictions and stop looking at them like they asked for it. They got in this bed, they got to lay in it. You better pray your way out, or just because you prayed for them, voila, they're supposed to be healed. Or one good sermon and they give their heart to the Lord. Next thing you know, they're not supposed to do it no more. No, that's when the battle begins. It was sickening and it was sad how they generalized people just because of the way their children chose to do drugs. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know it at the time, but I was self-medicating. This stuff was keeping me sane. And so we've got to stop condemning drug addicts and stop condemning weed smokers and stop condemning people that smoke crack and cocaine and meth, people that smoke meth. Because some of us are struggling every day of our lives just to stay alive. Every day is a challenge. And it's not their drug of choice. Boy, I hated when I heard that. I didn't understand that's a drug of choice. If I could, I'd leave it alone. So listen to me, preachers out there, so-called church people, Christians. Show some love. You don't have to understand it because you don't understand it. One thing you can do is you can show some love. That's not hard to do. If you ain't got it, you ain't got it. But I know one thing. The book says we will know that you are his disciples by your love one for another. All right, just a little talk. It's my concern for my fellow comrades who are still in the battle, who are still out there trying to make it day to day. Do I pray for every day? All right, remember, love you guys, and the messenger's praying for you.